1983 began with Margaret Thatcher's first visit to the Falkland Islands since the end of the war. Her first stop was at the airbase at RAF Stanley. The old tarmac runway had been completely covered and lengthened to make it suitable for Phantoms and Hercules transport planes. The tennis star Bjorn Borg announced he was retiring at 26. At the time, the Wimbledon champion was angry at new rules requiring players to qualify for the big tournament.
Later this year, a new generation of software is due to make its debut in Britain, which could change all that. The machines it runs on are identical or very similar to those already in use. But the promise is that the new software, business computing, will become something that you and I can get the hang of. One thing's been added. This office has got mice. Or one mouse, actually. It's the name they've given to this. As I move it around the tabletop, a little cursor or arrow on the screen moves in a relative position.
The Queen made her first visit to Hollywood. She and the Duke of Edinburgh were met at a special all-star extravaganza in her honour by Mrs. Nancy Reagan, standing in for her husband. The royal flavour of the year continued into March, this time the Prince and Princess of Wales on their travels to Australia. And with them, although briefly, Prince William, just 9 months old. Gently carried by his nanny, Barbara Barnes, the baby prince looked decidedly confused at being roused from the royal cot in the middle of his night into the dazzling sun of an Australian morning. Defence system, which was to become known as Star Wars. President Reagan announced in March plans to build a missile shield across America. Involving years of research, it would lead to satellites and lasers able to home in on and destroy enemy nuclear warheads. There was nothing fake about the stars turning out for the annual Oscar ceremony. Raquel Welch, the veteran American actor, Mickey Rooney, Jack Lemmon, Dustin Hoffman, all with hopes of an award. But it was a British film, Gandhi, which stole the show, winning 8 Oscars, including Best Film. Ben Kingsley, who played Gandhi, won Best Actor. He rejected suggestions that he'd had to assume Gandhi's personality in order to portray him. Big tremors at Westminster, where the dissolution of Parliament was announced and a general election called.
By the Queen, a proclamation dissolving the present Parliament and concerning the calling of another.
America's first woman in space returned home safely in the Space Shuttle Challenger. Sally Ride, a 32-year-old physicist, was one of 5 astronauts aboard the shuttle for the almost flawless 6-day flight.
The London Metropolitan Police today launched their Neighbourhood Watch scheme, enrolling householders to help fight crime. The idea is American, and it's being taken up by several police forces. The Metropolitan Police hope to set up at least 100 schemes.
There was a rather special wedding in Salford today. Britain's oldest bride got married at the tender age of 99. Jane Murphy's bridegroom, George Brearley, is a mere youngster, 89. The wedding guests included residents from the old people's home where the couple met just 8 weeks ago. Also on hand with the confetti were many of the 50 grandchildren and great-grandchildren Jane and George had between them. But the subject of children still concerned the newlyweds.
I said, I can't have babies. And he says, buy one.